Hi everyone, Chef Jake here at Station Park, Harmons Cooking School. Today we are going to be making chilled spicy noodles with cilantro sesame shrimp. So to start with, we have a large pot of boiling water, plenty of salt in there, and we have some soba noodles. These noodles have a little ribbon there just holding them in place. You can go ahead and remove that. Don't want to put that in the water with the noodles. Just go ahead and take this other one off here. Now these noodles, you want them al dente. You don't want them to be too soft. If they are too soft, they'll crumble and you won't have the best outcome. So we'll throw those in the water. They need to boil about 7 to 10 minutes or so. Next, we're going to work on the marinade for the cilantro shrimp. And we have here a bunch of cilantro, and I'm going to show you a quick technique of how to take most of the leaves off and not get a lot of stems. You'll grasp the cilantro like this, kind of holding the leaves down, your knife at an angle. Be careful not to get your finger in there. And you'll just slice very slowly through those leaves, kind of a sawing motion. Just like that. Then we will take the cilantro leaves. We're going to add these to a food processor bowl here. And this is where we will make our marinade. A food processor is a great tool to have in the kitchen. If you don't have one, invest. Next, we're going to work on some ginger. Now, how many of you have seen ginger in the store and thought it's too hard to use? It comes in these big kind of thumb-like pieces. And what you'll do is just break off what you need, take a spoon, place your ginger on the cutting board, and use the spoon to peel the ginger. That way you're not getting a potato peeler across the finger. That's pretty painful. We want to avoid that. And once we've got all that peeled down, got it nice and cleaned up here, we can move the peels aside. And now we want to break down the ginger. Even though it's going in the food processor, we want to break it down. It's very fibrous. There's a lot of lengthy fiber pieces in there that we want to get rid of. So first we'll take it and we'll chop it into what we call coins, just going across the length of it this way. Be careful to hold your fingers back so you don't get yourself with your knife. And then once we have the coins, we will make a little kind of pile here and just chop through those, just breaking up those fibers so that when it does go in the food processor, it's not sticking in our teeth later. That's what we don't want to have happen with the ginger. So as we finish chopping this, we'll just use the knife here to move this over to our food processor bowl. Right in there, get the rest of that. We'll check on the noodles really quick here, make sure that they're not boiling over. That can be turned down just slightly there. And then next we have the rest of our ingredients for the marinade. We have some vegetable oil. We have some soy sauce. And the amounts will all be in the recipe. You'll be able to see. There was sesame oil, soy sauce. We've got salt, granulated sugar, sriracha, which I'm going to use a spoon to scoop that out of our container here. And then we've got some chopped shallot that's going to go in that marinade again. Move that out of the way. We'll just put the lid on the food processor bowl here. And you only need to run this for just about 30 seconds to get everything combined. So just go ahead and switch that on. Counting down 30 seconds, everybody. All right. We have done some work ahead of time here, so we actually have now our shrimp in the marinade. So the marinade, once you've got that done, you'll put that on the shrimp. It needs to go for a minimum of 4 hours. Any less than that, you're not going to get a lot of flavor. You could go overnight. I wouldn't recommend going more than about 24 hours though. So next, what we want to do is start our wok here. If you don't have a wok at home, you can use a large saute pan. You could even take these out to the grill in the summertime. This is a great dish. We want to get the wok nice and hot here. So once the wok has heated, the shrimp will cook very quickly in there. It won't take long for them to finish. And after that, we're going to build our sauce on top of what we have done with the shrimp. So we'll just let that go for a minute here, getting that nice and hot. you want a pair of tongs so that you can kind of stir the shrimp around and make sure you're getting both sides, get them nice and seared. You really want to cook those thoroughly, and then we're going to chill those afterwards. This whole dish will come together cold. It's great for a summertime salad out on the patio. And like I said, you could also grill these. Very tasty grilled. At this point, our noodles are done, so we'll go ahead and turn that off. And what you would do now is just drain and rinse these noodles with cold water, and again, chill those. We've done some work again ahead of time, and we have ours right here. The wok is nice and hot. As you can see, there's a little smoke coming off of it. For this recipe, it's not necessary to add oil. There's plenty of oil in this marinade. That's going to give it all the oil that it needs. You want to use very high heat oils though. Something like a safflower oil, avocado oil, even coconut oil for Asian recipes is great. And we'll just place these shrimp in here one at a time, being very careful. We don't want to overcrowd our wok. If we overcrowd the wok, we're going to steam the shrimp rather than sear them, and we're looking for some nice color on the outside of the shrimp. Overcrowding the wok will not let that happen. We'll have a lot of steam and not a lot of smoke. As you can see, we're getting some nice smoke going here. Make sure the wok is nice and hot. I'm going to wait just a minute because the wok is cooling off. We've started putting cold product in there, and it's starting to get a little colder than I'd like it to be. We'll let that warm back up. And now we can add the rest of our shrimp. Again, just placing them one at a time in here. Very patient and very deliberate with our actions. Got one more in here. And then you'll want to discard this marinade. It's had raw shellfish in it. It's not safe to eat this after it's been marinating for as long as we've had it, so we'll set this aside. At this point, the shrimp are starting to cook on the one side. And what you'll want to do is always have a towel handy. These wok handles get very hot. And now we're going to toss the shrimp. Just kind of move it around a little bit to get them loosened up, and then give them a nice flip. Try and catch those. This is a skill that if you can perfect, it'll go a long way in your cooking life. Let that get hot again, and we'll just finish those out here. I'm going to grab a bowl to place these in. They need to cook about 5 minutes total. If you start to overcook them, they're going to shrink and curl around, and they're going to be very tough. We want to maintain that tenderness, maintain that nice size. Here we've got the 26-30 variety of shrimp. What that means is you have about 26 to 30 pieces in a pound. The recipe calls for a pound, so you're looking at probably about 30 pieces total. Obviously, we've condensed the size for this demonstration, but if you were to do this recipe at home, you would want to continue adding shrimp into the pan until they were all cooked, and then build your sauce in the same pan. We're just going to give these one more toss here. All right. At this point, these will go into the refrigerator. We'll turn the heat down on this, and then we have our sauce ingredients right here. So we have some mirin. This is an Asian cooking wine. It's sweetened with a little bit of sugar. As soon as we add this, all the alcohol cooks off, so go ahead and throw that in first. Get that nice steam there. We have some sesame oil again. Sesame is very prevalent in this recipe. It's going to give a nice, deep flavor. Most Asian recipes do call for sesame a lot of the time. Next, we're going to add some garlic in there. And just give that a little stir. Let the garlic cook just a little. And then we have soy sauce, granulated sugar. We have a little bit of rice wine vinegar and some spicy chili paste. This is where the spice comes in. We'll set that aside. And now we can take a spatula and just give this a good stir. Increase the heat. What we're doing now is just reducing that liquid down so that it thickens up and becomes a sauce. And you'll be able to see the bubbles coming up on the side as it starts to get very hot. You may want to keep your hand away. When you're working with a wok, always be very careful. They are very hot once you get them over a flame. Okay, that is thickening up nicely. The sugar starts to caramelize just a touch on the outside edges of the wok. And then what we will do with this is actually pour it in a bowl and chill it. But again, we've done some work ahead of time here. We have our shrimp that are cooked. We have our sauce. And now we will take the chilled product, going to mix in the noodles with the shrimp. Pour our sauce over the top. Make sure we get all of that there. And then we'll take our tongs, just give this a little toss. And you'll want to break up the noodles. They may have kind of congealed together just a touch as they've gotten cold. Make sure you're coating this entire bowl of noodles with the sauce. And we've got the shrimp tossed in there as well. Couple of final things before we plate. Here we have some honey roasted almonds, some thinly sliced green onion, toasted sesame seeds. Again, sesame is everywhere in this. We've got a thinly sliced serrano pepper. And our final step is going to be a little bit of lime juice. Now what we want to do with the lime is just roll it on the cutting board. This loosens up the insides, gets the juice ready for us to squeeze out. And then we'll just cut through the middle. Squeeze a little lime into there. Lime juice is going to give this a nice brightness. It's going to taste just like a summer barbecue, but Asian. Give that another stir. And then to plate, we want to put the noodles first. A couple of shrimp on there. Get a couple shrimp on top, make it nice and pretty. We'll throw some almonds in the back and a couple on the front. A few green onions. Serrano peppers. Again, this is a spicy chilled noodle. And finally, just a pinch of sesame seed. We'll wipe our plate down, make sure it's pretty. And there we go, guys. Spicy chilled noodles with cilantro sesame shrimp. For more recipes, check us out at harmonsgrocery.com/cook-with-us. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great time making your spicy chilled noodles and cilantro lime shrimp.